Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my wonderful and beautiful little subscribers out there. And how I love you all so. And I hope that you're all super duper well. Sorry, excuse me. Super duper wonderful and super duper delicious. And that life is treating you most deliciously. So, what's the time, Mr. Wolf? Well, it is, that doesn't mean no, it is nearly 2 p.m. In our old England, my delicious little babies, in the afternoon. It's very cold. It is being, if it's raining, it's been raining all day almost, stopped a little bit earlier. So I managed to get out with my beautiful, delicious little Ruby Tuesday because my beautiful, delicious little Maisie Muse, sorry, can walk herself. Never needed to stumble there. Although sometimes she does walk around with us, okay? And that is the weather forecast. So I hope that wherever you are, that life is treating you most deliciously and that the weather is better in your neck of the woods than where it is in ours. Okay, my delicious babies, remember the eagle, remember the mirror. Okay, my delicious babies. Now then, for anybody who was not aware of what I was doing, okay, my delicious babies, the other evening, okay, if you was to go on to, I usually quack quack go, it duck duck go, and you just type in, Swepsies and where it goes back to. Okay, my delicious little babies, because there we are. There's always a reason why I do what I do. Okay, now then. So I have today just 3 today, my delicious little babies. Okay. Now then, let's have a look. Right. So the first one, my delicious little babies. I need to spell this out for you. All on YouTube, my delicious little babies. X, capital X, and then the rest is little writing. My delicious little babies, okay? ENDRIUS. So it looks like Exendrius. Exendrius. Okay, my delicious little babies. Gosh, it sounds like I swallowed a dictionary, my delicious little babies, this afternoon. This uploader happens to have 338,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? It's not a long video. It's over 7 minutes long, and it should read, tick 2018 truthers, how they are trying to kill our channels. Okay, my delicious little babies, I'm just going to repeat that for you, shall I? Tick 2018 truthers, how they are trying to kill our channels. Okay, my delicious little babies, yes. Because, of course, this is what the crack is, you see. Because they don't want, doesn't mean yes. It's all right, that little bit's looking longer than the rest for some strange reason. It could be the way that I've... Anyway, my delicious little babies, not to worry, not to worry. The fact of the matter is, my delicious little babies, this is what this is all about. When you see this channel, I'm not talking to any of our alternative media who already know about this. Bless them all, not in that way with anybody. I'm talking to our delicious little babies who are not aware, okay? Well, you see, this is what the crack is, okay? Just like they're bringing in this business in Australia and England, to do with, bends cannot see certain, to do with the age of 16 and all this. Now they're mad to little babies. You see, the fact of the matter is, it's just a load of crock of effing shat, which we already know, mad delicious little babies, but of course, they want everybody to believe. But you see, the way that I see this, mad delicious little babies, okay? Remember Yorkshire. The way that I see it is that, you see, things, like I said, are not going very well, are they? Okay, I've got nothing against stumbled there, artfully so. Nothing across my shoulders, my delicious little babies. I personally do not feel that it's going too well. Um, there are others who are the same as myself. There we are, most optimistic. But of course, you will get a lot of pessimist. I've got to mention this as well, my delicious little babies. So basically, well worth a little listen to that video. There's also other videos on there, okay, my delicious little babies, which I haven't yet taken a look at. There was another one, I forgot what it was now. I think it's a rather recent one. But I haven't really looked at any others, my delicious little babies. It's just that one I was focusing on. Okay. Please and thank you. Now then, yeah. So, this is what's going on, okay? And if things were going so super duper well, well, ones would not be going to all this trouble, would they? My delicious little babies. Do you see what I mean? Just continue to join the dots, you see, okay? Now then, my delicious little babies. So, what we got next? So, we have this uploader happens to have 700. And 21,000 subscribers, my delicious little babies, okay? And it is called Tal. I think I've mentioned this uploader before. Yes, I have. If I look back in my book, not so long ago, actually. Capital T, Tal, okay, AL in little writings. It's capital T, Tal, space, capital O, ran. The rest is in small writing, my delicious little babies. Then it's a hyphen, then this is together, capital T, the capital T again, travelling. Those two words are together, my delicious little babies, and then space, clat, capital C, the rest in little writing, LATT. Then a question mark, no question mark, my delicious little babies, sorry about that. So you should read, once tapped into the old space bar, Tal, space, Iran, hyphen, the travelling space, clat. That's the upload of my delicious little babies. And the video should read, watch Constantine's mouth drop when Melanie Philips debunks the entire history of Palestine. Okay, my delicious babies, I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? Watch Constantine's mouth drop when Melanie Philips debunks the entire history of Palestine. Well, to tell you the truth, my delicious babies, I actually happen to like Constantine's videos, on trigonometry. I happen to like listening, to some of the videos, my delicious little babies. But so this is not to do with, Constantine and his best friend there now. There's another point that I'm making to this video, my delicious little babies. Kind of, as I said a while back on one of my videos, I have mentioned Melanie Philips before. So those of you who do not know who she is, she, basically she tells, there we are, all of this as it is, my delicious little babies, there we are, whether ones really like to hear this or not, okay? I said way back, and I was listening to other videos and things like this now then, and I said that when ones, there we are, find out the truth, I really just do not feel that they're going to like hearing the truth. Okay, my delicious little babies, because there we are, that is the fact. There we are. That is the fact of the matter, isn't it? And ones, all different types of walks of life, well, they do not like hearing the truth, do they, my delicious little babies, anyway? And I'm not saying that, to do with Palestine, that, but I'm also very, like I said, I'm not saying that things have not gone on. I'm not saying that, of course they made it their home. There we are. But what I'm saying to you is that there's a lot more than meets the eye to this business with Palestine and Israel. My delicious little babies. Okay, there we are. And I was just done saying it a while back now. Okay, my delicious little babies. And of course, uh, but this is what, let's just say, certain, okay, there we are, wanted. So, they wanted all these protests to go on. They wanted all of these things now to go on. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Because while all that is going on, there we are, there are other things now taking place. There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? And as I always say, in other countries, yes, I mean, it's terrible, for, things that go on. But the realisation is, there we are, my delicious little babies, we're in England, so, I'm not being nasty, when I say, but what can we do over here in England? And not being nasty, but for most to protest now, okay, because we've seen lots of protesting going on, my delicious little babies. For a lot of the protesting, how many of these, and that's not being nasty, how many of these would hop on a plane and go to the country to try to defend it? Because I'm not really getting a lot across my shoulders, if not nothing. So the fact of the matter is, my delicious little babies, okay, is that really, I would say, pretty much on a scale of 1 to 10, 1, which means very little. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? So there's nothing we can do, okay? But it seems to myself, I mean, I'm not, to do with what goes on in different countries. And to tell you the truth, I do not really know a lot of the history. So I'm just being honest, my delicious little babies, okay? But yes, there are terrible things that go on, but really the realisation is there's nothing we can do about it. But this is all we see. I mean, I remember, there we are, even going back decades ago, I'm still young, I'm 52, but even I remember ones used to go out, there we are, and protest, like a famous one, the poll tax in England, my delicious little babies, okay? But it was for a specific and wonderful reason. It was to do with our old England, and it was to do with what that Maggie Thatcher, that old bat. Okay, so anybody who like Maggie Thatcher, well, roll on, rock on. I personally never liked the woman. I don't like any parliament or government. Okay, my delicious little babies. They're all seem to be full of shit. You know what I mean? And it's not fair on our populations. There we are, what these governments put upon us. It certainly is not, okay? Well, at the end of the day, not long after that, she got booted out, didn't she? There we are, she got booted out. But that was to do with our country, my delicious little babies. There we are. That's what I'm talking about. It was to do with our countries. Now, yes, I do mention other countries like, you got Sudan, you got things that are going on, in Sudan, you got different countries. There we are, where there's, a lot that's going on that's not very nice, but you're not really hearing a lot about that, are you? It's like, there we are, whatever is flavour of the month. There we are. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? Okay, one's really not talking about anybody who already knows this. I'm talking to anybody who is not aware of this. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies? That's all it said. That doesn't mean no, I just got an itch. That's all that I'm saying, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean? Like, they're quite happy to push certain in the news. And like, I mean, and bless, and that doesn't mean no, and Iran now, okay, terrible things that, happening in Iran, from what we're hearing, okay, and it is awful. Do you understand what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? I mean, none of these things in any country should be going on. There we are. But who has caused this? So we get back to the same question. There we are again, don't we, my delicious little babies? Do you know what I mean? Which, of course, over time, you know, the same as what's happened in other countries, they'll be, not meaning this in a disrespectful manner, but they'll be coming to other countries. And one of those countries, there we are, is going to be us. There we are. Okay, so that's not right. Anyway, I'm not going to say anything like that. Anybody who knows me knows. Okay, but anybody who's in this country, who's come to this country, I'll repeat this again, you know, and have come to this country for a better life, okay, you know, should not be treated, like I said the other evening on one of my videos, the dark one, you know, one of the darker videos, okay, that they should not be treated in an ill manner and a disgusting manner, because they came here, there we are, to get away from that in their own country. There we are, in their own country. Do you see what I mean? Okay, but this is the thing now. But we really need to really get our noddles together, okay, not in a nasty way. And we need to start, that we are sticking up for our country, our old England, and others in other countries. They to stick up for their countries. Do you see what I mean? So if we look at it right now, how many are going to go over to Iran to go and help? I mean, I understand why one's protest and why they want change. You know, they want their countries to be much better, you know, to have better leaders and all of this. Me personally, I'll stand by what I say. I do not believe that any country needs a leader. Okay, and the only thing that I said next to it, which I've said long time, is that, you know, get a good couple of businessmen, decent businessmen. They might look all good in a whistle and flute, my delicious little babies, and I do not mean it in that way. But what is, there we are, the hidden agendas here. And that's what I've got to say about that, my delicious little babies. I'm sure that there we are, you all know how I'm rocking and rolling here, what I'm done saying. I do not believe we need any of them. If each country, there we are, was just left to their own devices, excuse me, bit by bit, it would probably happen sooner than what ones, there we are, actually realise. We would get together, everybody would know what they was doing, there we are, everybody would be, there we are, helping one another, because they realise, there we are, that ones need to help, there we are, each other. And we wouldn't be having all these issues. That's all I'm saying, my delicious little babies, and there we are, I stand by what I say. But we should be looking at everything, there we are, what's going on in our country. You know, and not being nasty, okay? Not being nasty. But not other countries. Okay? That's what I'm done saying, my delicious little babies, okay? So that's not me being nasty in any way. I do not feel that I am being nasty. Wanting to look after my own country. There we are, wanting to look after my own country. And to some it comes across, oh, you know, we must be caring about. You cannot care about something that you can do nothing about. Yes, I sympathise. Of course I do. Excuse me, Martin, baby, sorry. You know, I mean, it's like somebody, I don't know, doing something awful and treacherous to England. I mean, it would be a very terrible situation. But at the same time, how many would stay in England? And how many would find a way to either go back to their own country or to go back to, to another country? Yeah. Keeping a handle on it. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? That's what I'm saying. I do not feel like I'm bad for saying any of this. There we are, because it needs saying. I mean, when you look at London now, and I'm just being honest, my delicious little babies, it's absolutely unrecognisable. You know, please, I beg you the Lord of mercy, look back over the decades to how many protests there actually was. Okay, you probably have little ones here and there, okay? But it was nothing like what it is now. I mean, there's one every bloody month, every bloody week, every bloody whatever o'clock. You know, and I'll repeat this again. When everybody is going and protesting, okay, it's also the shops as well. There we are, the businesses that are doing ching ching ching. We're in the money. We're in the money. You know, somebody wants to buy a drink of something, to have a beverage, or whether they want to sit down and have something to eat now, or they want to get a takeaway, you know. So they're making, you got to see it. It's a circle, circles. There we are, circle, circle, circle of what's going on. But very sadly, they're using all different, because we've all got the same blood running through our veins, my delicious little babies, okay? We all have. But they're using all different nationalities. This is what they're doing. Okay, my delicious little babies, there we are. I'm just done saying it the way it is, you know, and sometimes it's so frustrating. And I just want to say as well, my delicious little babies, that, you know, when I'm actually looking at different videos and looking on the internet and everything, my delicious little babies, well, I'll tell you something now. Honestly, the amount of shite and crap, there we are, is absolutely unreal. Like at one time, you could watch videos that had, there we are, substance, that had, there we are, something about them. But the amount of propaganda that I've just seen this morning, my delicious little baby, is just unreal. I mean, what has this come to? That's why I tend to stick to mainly what I like to listen to, my delicious, there we are, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean? Because there's so many, there we are, before I even say it, so many distractions. You see, so you click on, you click off. Most of the time, you don't even click on. Oh, and that lovely, dear, delicious gentleman, you know, who I mentioned yesterday evening, my delicious little babies. Oh, right, well, that one now with the AI has now gone up to 1.9 thousand to subscribe to him, beginning with the initial M. You see, and that's AI. So, you know, why are they subscribing to something that's not real when they should really be, you know, subscribing to the actual channel? Do you see what I mean, Martin? These are sneaky, there we are. They're sneaky little effers, you know, what they do. And they do it with a lot. You know, the larger names, there we are, and everything, Martin, babies. Do you see what I mean? But this is, you know, the madness of it all. But anyway, nobody really listens to my videos anyway, so, you know, it's like talking to me damn self in the camera, my delicious babies, but I'll continue. It's just that you're just sick and tired, there we are, of seeing shite, sick and tired of propaganda. Do you know what I mean? When there's far more important things going on, my delicious little babies, there we are, super duper important. Anyway, that doesn't mean no, my delicious little babies, another rich. Now then, so the final one, my delicious little babies, this uploader happens to have 16.3 thousand subscribers. Okay. And this upload a capital T, the, and the rest is in little writing, space, capital A, and the rest in little writing, ancient, and then space, capital R, and the rest in little writing, record. So you should read once in the tapped in the space bar. Should anybody happen to have any form of an interest, please and thank you, my delicious babies. The space ancient space record. Okay, my delicious babies. This is what is it? I think nearly 44 minutes long, my delicious babies. I've got to go shortly. I've got to switch my dryer back on. Okay. And I think I've advertised these, doesn't mean no, once before as well. My delicious babies, I'm pretty sure I have. The video should read, the Tartarian system that threatened banking and why it was destroyed. Okay, my delicious little babies, so I'm just going to repeat that again for you, shall I? The Tartarian system that threatened banking and why it was destroyed. Okay, my delicious little babies, so now we need to go back to where we need to go back to, my delicious little babies. So now, I just must mention this on some of my videos, you know, before I upload it. Doesn't mean no. Before I upload a video, 3, 2, 1, Margie's little lights. Thank you, little lights. You're delicious and bright. I was like putting my lights on my delicious little babies. Occasionally that does happen. Well, sometimes it comes up with a blank screen. So like when I'm going to upload it and you've got to put the title and everything, my delicious little babies, it comes up with a blank screen. So that's when I know that YouTube's not happy. Okay, my delicious babies, it sort of looks like a blank tape, if you know what I mean. It's all grey and everything. Light grey, then dark grey. That's when I know that they're not happy with my video, my delicious little babies can. And by the way, it does happen to myself. There we are, rather often. Okay, my delicious little babies, and not only that, but there was another video I went to click on. It wasn't even, you know, probably somebody who was 15 would watch it. It was nothing, you know, terrible or anything. And then it flashes up, you know, we made changes, you know, to, you know, and this is all to do with this bloody effing flipping age verification and all this shit. So they're really, you know what I mean, mad little babies. And by the way, the video for yesterday evening, that bloody epoxy install came back up, didn't it, mad little babies? Now, what that does, it says ready to install. It does it, there we are, as well, there we are, only when I watch, there we are, certain videos. Okay, my delicious little babies, so we know, there we are, what the crack is, there we are here. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay, but I'm not installing nothing anyway. And finally, I think my daughter's bought me this as one of a gift. Was it last year? Yeah, Sanctuary. Maybe soon, there we are, somebody's going to be needing, there we are, Sanctuary, my delicious little babies, you know what I mean? Could be 4 of them, I don't know. Could be 4 who want Sanctuary, you know what I mean? Okay, my delicious little babies, that's all I want to say. So, you know, I thank anybody, so thank you for any views and for any likes, and bless you and for the occasional comments. But the realisation is that when I see everything the way it is, okay, there we are, I'm just not liking it. Because of a lot of this, it seems to be all to do with other countries. But when you look at protests that are going on with our country, it doesn't seem to be very large at all, my delicious little babies. But it's always covering, I repeat again, different countries. Do you know what I mean, my delicious little babies, okay? And of course, there we are. It's selected countries, isn't it, my delicious little, there we are, my delicious little babies, okay? But I repeat again, you have to look, there we are, at the leaders of the different countries, there we are, and exactly what they're doing. Because I can well assure you now, my little babies, it's certainly, I would not say, for ones that we are higher good in all different countries, my little babies, to their populations. Because they all seem to be rowing, there we are, the same boat and rowing in the same direction, don't they, my little babies? Um, so to finish on this, so say, for example, you could have 2 leaders out of, oh, I don't know, let's just use a figure, 40. Okay, my little babies. So you could have 2 leaders who maybe want to do things differently, okay? But then you got the other 38 who follow the leaders. Do you see what I mean, my little babies, okay? Well, of course, ones do talk about this, there we are. And I clocked it, there we are, long time what was going on. Do you understand what I mean, my little babies? But, this is what I'm saying. And of course, as well, what comes up on my feed. So, so it'll come back up on my feed, and I'm convinced, there we are, that this is it's all to do with what YouTube, they'll put certain things now up on my feed, to see whether, you're going to engage with that conversation, or whether you're going to, maybe give out a video, there we are, on, that particular, to do with that particular uploader or something like this now then. Do you see what I mean? Okay. But yeah, I just believe if we all, concentrated, there we are, on our own country. Yes, it's terrible. I repeat once again before I leave my video. I'm not being a bitch. It's terrible what's going on in other countries, okay? And of course, there are other nationalities who have come to our country in recent years because they want to, have opportunities and a form, there we are, of a decent life. But it is not ourselves, just like it isn't other countries like Germany. I mean, you need to take a look at Berlin, my little babies, how bad that is. Sweden's gone through. I mean, I know somebody a long time who told me about Sweden months and months and months ago. And how bad, sorry, yes, done, but they're rightfully so, how bad things are over there as well. My little babies, okay? But it wasn't us in our countries who brought the trouble to other countries, is it? So we go back to the leaders and who they've been worked from behind from. It's not us, my delicious little babies. Do you understand what I mean? But you can say that about a lot of countries. That a lot of the countries, there we are unrecognisable. Do you see what I mean, my delicious little babies? It should never be like this. And of course, you will have some cultures, there we are, who will get along, there we are, hunky-dory tickety-boo with other cultures. But then you've got other cultures who refuse to integrate with other cultures. Well, that's not a very good sign, is it, my delicious little babies? Do you see what I'm saying? Not to mention, I mean, I see the part of London, when was it? I think it's a few weeks ago now. And there's a part of London is absolutely damn rank and disgusting. I mean, they talk about our Brummyland, Birmingham. You're talking about some kind of high street, whereas at one time in London, there we are, really hold its, well, figure of speech, my little babies, held its weight in gold. You look at it now, it's full of shite, full of mess, full of paper, litter, everything. Do you know what I mean? These bloody boxes, businesses, they throw outside, and everything like this now then. So if you're inviting other cultures, I'm not going to talk about all cultures, my delicious little babies. If you're going to invite certain cultures in, Shouldn't they respect the countries that they're going to? Simple things. I'm just asking a question, isn't it? But that's not what we're seeing. And not to mention with all these protests. So how many in a day? I know it sounds like to yourself, you probably think, oh, she's nitpicking, she's just picking anything. No. I feel really sorry for anybody having to clear up as well after these protests. How many would be dropping litter? How many are going to actually pass a bin or keep the litter in the pocket? You will have some, martyrish little babies. There we are. You will have some. But how much litter? It would be really interesting to see at the end of that day how much litter is on the ground and everything like this now then. So I know it sounds like I'm just, moaning and going on. No, I'm not. I'm saying that our countries, there we are, have changed. And I do not feel it's for the better. That is exactly what I'm saying. And I'm not taking it back. And just very lastly, my little babies, no, I'm not. Like I said, there's some cultures, they just want to get along with everybody. There we are. They just really want to get along with everybody. But then you've got other cultures that they're just not interested at all, my little babies. Well, if they do not want to be here, I said it before and I repeat it again, they maybe go back to their own country or go somewhere else. Okay, because we should not have to feel uncomfortable in our own countries. So I'm talking not only about my country that I come from, that I was born in, I'm talking about other countries as well. Why must they feel uncomfortable in their own countries? And why should they have to have laws put upon them? Well, it's nothing to do with our country. So they come here, mad little babies. So I'm not being nasty. I'm talking about recent years. They come here with some cultures to get away from what's going on in their own country. But they want to bring their business, I repeat this again, they want to bring their business into our country with their laws and everything else in the way that they want to do things. And they want to bring it here. Well, if they want to bring it here, take it effing back to their own damn country. Don't bring it into our country or anybody else's country. That's what I'm peed off about, my little babies, okay? Anybody who knows myself knows who I am. I'm a very nice woman, actually. Okay, my delicious little babies, okay? But of course, if you speak your noddle, if you speak your mind's my delicious little baby, oh, she must be racist. Oh, she must be prejudiced. No, I'm not. I'm none of those such things. But we should, there we are, speak up. Because quite frankly, I feel, there we are, that our country, our old England and other countries ever have been well and truly taken over. Portugal is another one. My delicious little babies. Okay? I even seen a video just before I go. I even seen a video as well where a man, I don't know, some of you may have seen this, my delicious little baby. He was on a plane and then started, getting down on his knees and praying. I've never ever seen, honestly, this world has gone mad. Me personally, I've never ever seen that on a plane whenever I've been on a plane. Okay, now whether it's AI or whatever it is, I never clicked on it. I just seen the front, you know what I mean? But what's the point I'm making? It appears to myself there's no consideration for anybody else. It's like I can do what the effing hell I like and everybody else has just got to adhere to it and just be done with doing as they're told, because we can do what we want. No. This has got to stop. And if ones feel so strongly that ones want to do this, especially, like I say, in recent years of coming to our countries, England and in other countries, if they feel so strongly, then go back to their own country or go to a country what is going to accept what they want to do. But don't bring it to our countries. And I'm not the only one who's talking about this. There's thousands upon thousands who feel the same way. It's like just to be English is a crime. There we are. It's a crime to be English. Damn rank, man. And damn disgusting. Would we go to other countries and behave in this way? No. We would not. Anyway, my delicious babies, that's all I want to say. I'm not going to say anything more, but I'm just anyway. I've said enough what I want to say. I'm not taking my video down either. So ones can think what they like about me. I really couldn't give a fiddler's F, quite frankly. I remember, I was brought up. Yes, I was. From a family, there we are, who brought me up with damn manners, there we are, for me to cook, clean, iron and wash, to keep any rubbish in my pocket until I reached a bin, even though the bins are far and few between these days, my delicious little babies, to keep your rubbish in your pocket, and not just to go out spitting in the street and doing whatever and then just tossing all of your rubbish, if you've been eating or whatever, and just toss it out into the road or wherever, into the street. That's what I'm saying, my delicious little babies. And just one final thing. Sorry, I'm just saying this as well. To do with, honestly, even my road, my delicious little babies, okay, this is getting worse, this is. I remember at one time you used to see a sign of life. But now, it's looking more and more like a ghost town. It's like, I don't know, it's like ones, I don't know, for whatever reason, they just do not want to come out or whatever is going on. And all of this was from 2020, my delicious little babies. So you see that there we are. You see the problems that it's caused now then, and very sadly what followed after. And of course, they're trying to ramp it up again, aren't they? And America, there we are, is the worst one. With these presenters. You know what I mean? You only have to go on to, oh, bless him, not in that way. Mag Bitter Truth. Next Level on YouTube, my delicious little babies. Oh, bless him. He's now up to 15,000. But yeah. And you have a look at the presenters. Have they not learnt anything? But just for a job, to get ones to have jibby jabs. It's damn rank and disgusting. Doing the same here as well, my delicious little babies. In any other bloody country they can flipping try to get away with it in. As if enough damage has not been done. Anyway, my delicious little babies, I've said what I've got to say now. I'm not going to be done saying anything else. I probably will not even get a view. Well, fine. But somebody, there we are, needs to be done saying it. And bless others, they do. Oh, and just let you know, sorry, that's just came into my noddle. Stockport. There's been is it undercover or whatever? So please don't quote me. Please do not quote me. Sorry. Very sadly, the slaughterhouses. And it turns out that they've got slaves. Yeah, this is 2026, my delicious little babies, okay? But talking about that last video that I was talking about, sorry, very quickly, I've overrun my tail, old-fashioned Irish saying. Well, that was before kaching, pound, shilling, pence, dollars and change was ever invented. You know, just like puff the magic dragon, live by the sea. You know, where they just invented a kaching out of fresh air. My delicious little babies. This used to be entirely different. And of course, where they wanted everything banned from bartering. And I stand by what I say. You know, I see no issue or problem at all with bartering. Okay, my delicious little babies anyway. But if you was to listen to that video, the other one that I mentioned about Tartaria, okay, and I know that one single she just keeps going. Not to everybody, my delicious little babies. Well, nobody really listens to my videos, but I just keep harping on about Tartaria. Well, Tartaria was destroyed, and unless things change in our other countries, well, if these were to get their way, which they will not. But the fact of the matter is that, well, there probably, very sadly, probably will be some countries where something happens, no return. Yeah. Okay, my delicious little babies. Okay, well, England is not going to be one of them. And I'm not being selfish by saying what I've just said. Okay? Because if there's other countries or a few other countries where that very sadly happens to, that's because they've allowed it to go that way. But we must stand up for our damn selves, not in a violent way. There we are. But we need to start standing up for ourselves, and very, very, very quickly. And that talks about other countries as well, my delicious little babies, okay? Otherwise, we're going to be totally destroyed. And that's, like I say, not going to happen with our old England. Not at all. Okay, my delicious little babies. So wherever you are in the world, whether it's morning, afternoon or evening, please have a super duper delicious time. You only get one life, my little honey bunnies. Sending peace, love, harmony and bright blessings to each and every one of you. And may your beautiful little selves, your beautiful little families, may you all be fully protected. And how I love you also. No, anybody who comes to our country, no matter what country it is, they should respect, there we are, our values, respect how we live and how we operate, not bring all their own damn laws in. Like I said, they want that trapped back to their own country. Do not ruin other countries in the process. Okay, my delicious little babies. So very much love. Thank you once again for listening. How I love you so. You just take care now. If you do find any of the videos interesting that I have suggested to you, if you could please pass those videos, if you could please pass them on. I'll be so very thankful and grateful, okay? You just take care. Much love. Blessings. Thank you. Goodbye.